In life, everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame, or sometimes 15 seconds. Not me. I want to be a badass like Heath Ledger. Clearly, he had a lot more than 15 minutes of fame, but he became such a badass in the iconic role of Joker in The Dark Knight that even the variant characters that he only portrayed for 15 seconds are now being idolized. You know, the executives from Warner Brothers are sitting around. You know, Heath Ledger was arguably the best Joker guy out there, and we've had about 25 different statues licensed about him. I've actually had quite a few of them on this table. How can we make more? Well, I've got an idea. You know where he was a cop for 15 seconds and he didn't have his makeup on? Let's make 3 different statues about that. And I know you're saying, Mr. X, the Warner Brothers don't sound like that. Well, you've never seen Animaniacs.
It's time for Animaniacs. Come join the Warner Brothers.
And the Warner sister died.
As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. Today we're looking at a Heath Ledger statue. We have seen so many different Heath Ledger statues on this table, and as a spoiler, I just reviewed another one that will launch probably in a week or two. That one is made by Prime 1 Studio, and it's the traditional Heath Ledger as he portrayed the Joker in The Dark Knight, where this kind of is the same thing, but it's made by Queen Studios. Same scale, 1/3 scale, meaning they shrunk him down 3 times. But as I said in the intro, this is that very brief scene where they tried to assassinate the mayor, and we thought that they shot Commissioner Gordon, and we saw Heath Ledger with his scars but without the Joker makeup. Now, I've done so many different videos about Heath Ledger. My most recent one was this life-size bust from Infinity Studios, and I talk about how in the DC universe I've loved so many different renditions of the Joker, whether it was Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix, Jack Nicholson. But what I loved about him is he was scary. He really was truly evil. And while this version of him doesn't scare me as much, doesn't really represent him as evil as when he wears his makeup, it's still a pretty cool scene. Now, in full transparency too, when I ordered him about a year ago or so, I was drunk. Because I already have a ton of Heath Ledger statues. And I can't wait to put him over with the rest. And if you want to see what that looks like, check out the Extreme channel's social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. The link for those is in the description below. But we're going to review this piece, and honestly, I've had a lot of Queen Studios pieces on this table. In fact, I recently attended their big event. You can actually check out a recap of it up in that card in the corner. Now, while this isn't my favorite piece from them, and I think there are things they could have done better, there are some cool things as well, and it's truly a unique statue. Other than the fact I alluded to, they're making 3 versions of this. And we'll talk all about that in design, but first we're going to kick it off with concept. So what I do like is this is directly from a scene in the movie. Now, while some of these items weren't necessarily in the scene, I think it dolled it up or so, or made it a little bit better. On the bottom, you have a museum-style base with the bat symbol. So this is truly a museum-style piece. You guys know that I don't like nameplates, and I kind of consider that to be. So I don't like that this won't fit in well with the rest of my collection, but I think I can get past it. On the top of that is almost like this felt, kind of like a stage, where he was really on the street and the mayor and Commissioner Gordon were up on that stage. Behind him, you not only see a flag we're going to look at in a second, but you see some posts and a decorative rope, assumably to keep the crowd out. So while this is from a specific scene, they're kind of merging stuff together. He is wearing a mixed media that is actually a fabric uniform, so it's not sculpted. His body is, but none of the clothing is. And as you move up, this is when they were doing the gun salute for the fallen commissioner. And I believe during that salute is when he actually tried to assassinate the mayor. But you move up even farther, and he has a very serious, stern look on his face. Now this, I'm really undecided whether I like it or not. We're going to look at it with some close video and paint and sculpt, but it just looks weird to me, and I can't figure out why. Now I think part of it is, it was so brief that we saw him with the scars and without his makeup. The likeness, which we'll talk more about later, is definitely there. So concept-wise, I think they did a good job. It's an interesting choice for sure, but I think the concept is a 4 out of 5. If they're going to take Heath Ledger as he was portrayed in that scene, I think they did a good job. Design, for the most part, pretty simple. Things I question a little bit. Let's get the dimensions before we show the unboxing and assembly. The widest point, which is on the base, is probably at about 13 inches. The tallest point, which is the flag, which technically you could remove, is 35.5 inches. And then the deepest point is about 12 inches. And just so you know, without the flag, the top of his gun, which you can move a little bit, is a little under 32 inches. But here's the unboxing and assembly. Now, the reason you see two boxes is I had two different Queen statues arrived, and that's how they decided to pack them. But here's the art box. It did have instructions, although it wasn't really needed. The COA, as usual. You can see they made 500 of these. And it was one layer with the white foam and straps. So no additional display options. What you see is what you get. Like I said, you technically probably could remove the flag and just have the flag pull on the bottom here. You could also remove the rope on the back if you wanted to. Or let it fall like that. His fingers, while I can't see what they look like because they're under the gloves, they seem sculpted, but they're a little bit pliable. So you can get the gun in snug and secure. Hopefully over time that isn't ruined and the grip isn't loosened. But who's to say? The hat, as you saw, is also mixed media, and you can kind of set it however you want, although I remember it was tipped rather low to help cover his face. Now what's interesting is his hair is tied back in a ponytail. Check this out. Now I don't know if this is accurate to the movie or not, or if they just did it to ship the statue. I'm going to leave it. I don't want to mess with it. Because once you have great hair in the place you want it, you don't touch it, trust me. So one other thing, for some reason, and it's meant to be designed this way, the flag is greatly leaning forward. Look at that right here. And I'm not sure why they did that. And I'd include this in the design. The flag is a really cheap material. You can actually see through it even. And it's already fraying at the bottom. I think that's a huge miss on the design. So I'm not too happy with a lot of the stuff that's going on here. It's interesting they used a polystone face and an actual mixed media for hair. And when I say mixed media, I mean it's not sculpted. I wonder where they got that hair from. Maybe I don't want to know. So anyway, design, I think it's a 3 out of 5. While everything fits together well, I just think there were some better choices that could have been made. Paint and sculpt is a little difficult because let's be honest, other than the museum style base, really the only sculpt and paint we see is on the portrait. So this might be the quickest video of paint and sculpt we've ever done. All right, let's get some close-up detail for you guys. The base looks great, kind of this marbled effect. And I like that it's not plain black. It gives a little bit more depth to the statue. And it looks really good. And it follows not only the style of the statue because he's in a museum pose and we have this nameplate where the bat symbol is indented, but also kind of the classy stage. So this felt stage, I think it's felt that they used. That's kind of nice. And it contrasts well with the shiny poles. I think those are real metal, honestly. So they did a really nice job with that. Mixed media rope. That part I have no issues with. Here's the flag that we talked about. Very cheap. You can see it even more so now. Some fraying already started. I think that's definitely an issue. Should count the stars, see if that was right. So his uniform is a little dirty, and I don't know if that's from the packaging or if it's supposed to be like that. I'm kind of using it for now, just leaving it. But I would assume that it's supposed to be clean and it just got dirty in transit. Now, also with that, it's very wrinkled, but again, that happened during transit. I mean, remember this was a funeral, so you'd think it'd be a little more clean pressed, especially for the leader of the police force. His badge, not really a big fan, a little toyish, a little plasticky, almost like a decal. The patch looks fantastic. So do the buttons, nice little gold shine to them. Now his shoes look great. I kind of forgot to mention those. They did a really nice job on the sculpt. Shiny black shoes, the laces in there, the seams. A little bit of texture on them. That I'm good with. Gun is okay. You can tell it's a toy, but it doesn't look too plasticky or toyish. Check out his gloves. So the gloves are mixed media, and like I talked about, the hands are a little bit pliable underneath. It's like this popped out. There we go. Kind of give you an idea on that. The badge on the hat doesn't look the best. That's a little toyish. But let's look at the portrait, most important part. I think the eyes are fantastic. It just looks so weird because we're not used to seeing Heath Ledger like this. I think they did a nice job on the scars and even sculpting in the eyebrows right there. The color, I'm not so sure of, but again, I don't know how accurate or inaccurate it is because it was such a brief moment. And not only that, but lighting will make a huge difference. There's the hair, a little bit closer look at that. So I don't believe it's actually rooted in. It's kind of just glued on there. Little preview with it off. I would never display him without it off because he looks even weirder. See, I think the likeness is definitely there though. And again, I think they did a good job with the paint on the scars. There's almost too much imperfections in the skin, which maybe Joker was supposed to have that. You know, I almost wonder, did Heath Ledger have as much makeup on during this scene as he did during the other scenes? Obviously not the same white and red makeup. But I like that they got the black around his eyes. Almost like when he wipes off the clown makeup, you still see that because black's harder to get off. So really some pros and cons. Nothing I'm in love with. Nothing I absolutely hate. Some things I think could have been done better. Like, the flag and the plastic pieces there. If the uniform's not supposed to be dirty, that's just happened in shipping. Kind of a different piece. All right, this one's a really tough grade. Honestly, I don't know what's off. The likeness is there, as we talked about on the portrait. Paint looks okay. Maybe the skin's a little too dark, but it's so hard to compare because it was such a brief scene in the movie. So I don't feel fair giving it a grade. Sometimes I look at it, it's really good. Sometimes it's not. The materials we talked about is a little cheap. I think that's a negative. So if I did grade this, it would probably be a lower grade on the paint. Sculpt, kind of the same situation here. I like the base a lot. I think the base is done well. And as a disclaimer, I do like the paint on the base. The likeness is definitely there. Scars look cool. I think it's a 3 out of 5 at best. So it's definitely not a statue that kind of knocks your socks off. Now, is he worth it? Probably not. I'm going to say that right now. So this statue is $1,300 plus shipping. They're making 2 other versions. One is a 1/6 scale, so half this size. And then they're doing a full-size bust, and I believe that's silicone. It actually looks really, really cool. Here's a picture of it. Now, while this is the standard price for a 1/3 scale, there's not a lot going on here. I can't imagine the materials were that expensive. They didn't have to pay for a full body sculpt. Other than the shoes and the portrait. Granted, I don't know how much licensing is for him. Probably a lot because everyone and their mom wants to do him. Man, I wish I had that problem. Now, they made 500 of these. I don't think these are going to sell out. I think they're going to be there for a while. I think if I wanted to sell him today, which I'm not planning to, because I really love that movie, it's probably arguably one of my favorite DC movies, I don't think I could get my money back, especially when you consider a couple $100 shipping. So I think the value is a 2 out of 5, unfortunately. Now, if you love Jokers and Heath Ledgers, you want to do an entire setup with all of them, he's a must-have for you for sure. And part of me wonders, would they have done this statue if he was still alive? Anyway, does it have the X Factor? No, he doesn't have the X Factor. Definitely not my favorite. It'll be interesting. I want you to make sure to tune in to the Prime 1 Studios Joker that I'm doing in a week or two. I've already filmed it. Members have access to it. So make sure you've not only liked this video, but you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification to see if he's better than him. Is the same actor better than the same actor? Anywho, overall, I think he's a 3 out of 5 statue. He's not overly impressive by any means. Not bad either, though. Like I said, not really worth the price you pay, but it's cool to have in the collection. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. If you could, just hit that like button. Beep, beep, beep. Just hit it once. If you hit it twice, it doesn't work. It helps me a ton. It's easy and free for you. Check out some of these other videos. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.